There's today's public service announcement. When your brakes need to be done, don't let them go too long. It gets bad in a hurry. Hey there, welcome to the garage. This was an unexpected event. Wasn't planning on doing this, but things happen when they happen. 2012 Jeep Wrangler, it's my daughter's Jeep, and I knew the brakes needed to be done. I had enough time to did the front brakes just a few days ago. I hadn't got around to the back brakes yet. But so my daughter came home and said, hey, my brakes are soft and my brake light is on. I went and looked, and sure enough, she was almost completely out of brake fluid. And the rear passenger brakes were covered in fresh brake fluid. Also the inside of the wheel, everything covered in brake fluid. Yanked the wheel off, yanked the caliper off, and sure enough, this is what I found as the remains of the brake caliper. This was the piston. It's now in 3 pieces. There was 1 pad left. No idea where the other pad went. And obviously the fluid was leaking all out from behind the piston when the piston shattered. So what happened? The brakes were worn down. I hadn't even really paid close attention. The brakes were way beyond where they should be. And at some point the inside pad probably destroyed itself, fell out anyway. It's gone, it's not there. And then the next time she applied the brakes, the piston itself came over and hit the rotor, and then the rotor ground into the piston, shattered the piston, and there you go, here we are. So next step is I'll make a run up to I'll price around. Hopefully I can get a caliper at Napa and don't have to pay dealership prices, but one way or the other, I'll get a new bracket and get that slapped on. I'll probably go ahead and get 2, since I need to get pads and everything for the rear anyway. I actually need to get rotors as well. So this is my opportunity to, I'm going to go ahead and do the whole rear brake job on this Jeep. It's late at night, nothing is open for me to get the parts I need anyway. So I will get up in the morning, go get a couple of calipers and see if I can get this put back together. So a couple of trips to Napa this morning. They did have to order the calipers, but they had everything else in stock. So got a couple of brand new rotors and a couple of and a caliper for each side, and got my brake pads. So I'm gonna get started putting this back together. It shouldn't take too long, and I'll be back in business. The bolt that connects the brake line to the caliper has a hole in it where the fluid goes through. So I need to mark this so that once I get that bolt on, I'll know where that hole is. So pre-filled the caliper. It didn't take much because it's all the way compressed. And we'll go ahead and hook up the brake line. Try to keep as little as air as possible from getting into the system. So I don't have the pads in yet. I'm just getting the bracket mounted on so I can get some leverage on this brake line nut to get it lined up properly. I don't know how well that got filmed. I did the best I could. It's kind of hard to do by yourself, but the work itself's not too hard. Got the rotors on, got the new calipers on, got the brake line all hooked up, got the pads in, got everything buttoned up. The thing left to do, I tried to pre-fill the caliper to make sure I introduce as little air as possible into the system. It's going to require some bleeding, which I will get to. I'm going to go ahead and knock out the other side, get them both done, get everything tightened up, double check everything. I've got to put my sway bar links back. Normally for a brake job, if you don't have a Jeep, you got in a lot of vehicles, or most vehicles, you don't have a sway bar to deal with. On a Jeep, you've got to get the sway bar out of the way in order to get to the caliper mounting bolts, or the caliper bracket bolts, and kind of get that out of the way. But I'll go ahead and button that back up. This side will be done, then I'll move over and knock the other side out. So got that done. Had to make a run to pick my son up from school. Just a quick recap. I knew I needed to do the rear brakes on that Jeep, so that was not a surprise. The replacing the calipers wasn't really a challenge at all either. It just took a little extra time. It did force me to have to bleed the brakes, which normally don't do on just a normal brake job. So bleeding the brakes is a little tricky by myself. I've got a brake bleeder kit, but still trying to bleed brakes by yourself and film it, that was a little more than I was going to try to tackle. So the 2012 JK has got new brakes all the way around, new calipers in the rear, and did a little test drive. Runs great. So she is back in business. So thanks to my subscribers for supporting the channel, and I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. See ya.